doing well. My name is Vera. This is Life's Lyrical Lessons, and I got something to say. Unless you've been under a rock, I know you know about Jada Pinkett and the whole debacle with everything that happened at the Oscars, and the fact that she has alopecia. Well, I would like to share with you my story about alopecia areata. That is the particular alopecia that I have suffered from. I am not suffering right now, clearly. I have a full head of hair. My hairline does thin out sometimes, but I can always use minoxidil for that, right? I use this every day to kind of keep my hairline in order. That's a whole nother, I'll get more into that. Anyway, before I get started with my story, I like to thank my subscribers. Thank you so much. You know, I love you. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe and welcome back, subscribers. Now, when I was 19, I went into basic training and I had tech school. So that's how the military works. Basic training, tech school. Before going in the military, I cut all my hair off. I hadn't had any problems with my hair. Again, I was 19. I hadn't had any problems with my hair at all. I come back home and I go to the hairdresser, and my hairdresser lets me know that I have a dime size bald spot. Now, of course, I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? Whatever. I think at that time I was still getting perms. So I kind of attributed to maybe the perm was too strong. I don't know. And just hope that it would grow back. And not only was it, like when I say a bald spot, it was skin. Like a lot of people attribute a bald spot sometimes to, you know, you got your hair falling out and, you know, you can still see hair there. No, a bald spot is your skin, your scalp. And there's no hair there at all. So that is what my situation was. No hair. I just keep stressing that because alopecia areata is an autoimmune disease that affects the follicles of your hair. And you will know that because when your hair comes out, if you look at it, it'll have a white bulb on the end of the strand. That's how you know it's coming out straight from the root. Anyway, I didn't really, you know, of course I had concerns, but I was like, okay, it's going to grow back, right? Go back to the hairdresser. Now I'm like kind of feeling in my head, and I did feel like it was more, but you know how you like don't want to face reality? That spot grew and another spot or two had developed. So now I knew I had to do something about it. She suggested I go to a dermatologist. I went to the dermatologist, and yes, I was diagnosed with alopecia areata. Now, fortunately with alopecia areata, the hair grows back. He couldn't guarantee me that it would, but he said that the possibility was there. And I said, well, what do I do? And he said, well, you have to get injections. That was the option that he gave me, to have injections. No big deal. Go ahead, shoot my arm, you know, give me a needle in my arm. I don't give a doggone shoot. Give me a needle in my butt. Do what you got to do. I'm going to need this hair. No. He said, I'm going to need to give you injections in the problem area. So I received injections, several, they use a fine needle, and they inject that area with steroid. Okay, I'm getting the injections, and they're not really working. I'm seeing the spots, more spots appear. The spots that I already had growing larger. So eventually I went completely bald. Like I would have like, I'll show pictures. Now, obviously this is not my hair and I'm not showing faces. I'm just really trying to give you examples of what I went through and what it really looks like or looked like. It got to the point where I couldn't go to I didn't go to the regular stylist anymore. I was referred to this woman who worked with women who suffer from hair loss. And she was able to kind of braid. This is before all of it fell out, where, excuse me, allergies, I've been sneezing all day, where she could braid, and then she could do some kind of threading thing, like all across your head, and attach hair to it. I was young, right? Why didn't I just go buy a wig? Well, I went to her, and even though what she did, it worked, but it didn't work, because when the wind blew, you know when your hair blows, it don't come back and like go back into the style. No, if your hair blows, where it blows and falls is where it lays. So that was happening. So of course I got hair blowing, and you see all these, you can obviously see the spots, because she couldn't put the hair in where it was not going to be any scalp showing. So I just became, I mean, my self-esteem was down. I was trying to put up a happy face. I just recall, like, I came to the conclusion that I'm going to have to wear a wig, because a wig is unless it blows off, the wind blow, whatever. Let me tell you something, a wig don't move. Like, unless you have long, I got short wigs. Unless you get long hair, then, it's going to go with the wind. But for the most part, a short, tight wig, I was like, you know what? I'm going to rock out with that. But I have to admit, I was defeated. I felt like I'm not, I'm going to be bald. Now, I didn't lose my eyebrows. I lost my hair on my head. I didn't lose my eyebrows, because you can lose your hair in wherever you have hair at. You can develop alopecia. You can lose hair anywhere. One of the things that I did get from the woman who specialized in doing hair for women who suffer from hair loss was, she advised me to get rose water and glycerin. And I'm like, where do you get rose water from? Mind you, this is back like 80s, 90s. Like, I didn't have Google. I didn't, I'm young. I'm going through this, and I'm just like kind of lost and feeling like, oh my God, I'm ugly. I'm whatever. I mean, so much beauty is placed on hair for women. So to have that woman just give her heart and to help me out, honestly, it was so long ago, and it was such not a good time in my life. I really tried to forget about it. When she advised me to get the rose water and the glycerin, she told me to go to an occult store on South Street. Now, occult, OCCULT. When I went in that store, I was like, what is going on? The candles, the snake in the jar, the this and that. Like, it was an occult store. So I go in, I'm like, may I have, I believe I got a quart of rose water. She went, she poured it in for me. I got it. I got the glycerin from the drugstore. And at this point, I'm completely bald. I'm still going to the dermatologist. I'm still getting injections, like they're just injecting me. I'm spraying the rose water and glycerin on my head. When I was home, I would just spray that on. And all of a sudden, my doctor was like, your hair is growing back in. And I'm like, no, it isn't. He said, yes, it is. It came in really, really like platinum blonde. So I couldn't see it. When I would feel my hair, I would feel like it seemed like it's something there, but I didn't know. I know my mom told me that I was born. This is honest God truth. This is what my mother said. I initially had blonde hair and blue eyes, and then I went through an auburn phase as a baby, and then brown eyes. So when he said that, my doctor was a male. When he said that, I was like, oh my God. So I had like a little layer, peach fuzz of blonde hair. So I continued to get the injections. I continued with rose water and glycerin, and eventually my hair grew back in where anybody could see it, because it was dark. And what was so weird to me was I looked like my mother just gave birth to me again. I literally had baby hair, a head full of baby hair, like I was reborn on my head. I take it. Eventually, Obviously, it grew. But what I also want you to know is, starts at a dime, goes to a nickel, goes to a quarter, goes to a 50-cent piece. That's how large these bald spots, like, someone, now my hair has grown back, and I'm like, I'm over it. Thank you, Lord. Like, I'm never getting another perm. I'm never dyeing I'm never doing anything, right? Bald spot. Bald spot came back. So I continue to get bald spots for decades. And then as of 10 years ago, I'll say about 10, it's been 10 years. I have not, thank you, I don't want a bald spot. I have not had a bald spot. But when I tell you, for me, it was a devastating time. It is not a chronic ailment. It's hurtful, it's embarrassing, you know, and for those women who can just face it and can just like, boom, this is me, accept me how I am. I wasn't strong enough. Like, I was trying to figure out every way to keep it a secret, to hide it. So, you know, I kind of aligned with Jada in a way of, you know, she didn't really look at what Chris said. Maybe she couldn't really accept it as a joke. Now, for me being military, and, you know, the women was G.I. Janes, the men G.I. Joes, so I didn't personally take offense to it, but you can never tell someone else how to receive a comment, an opinion, or a joke, right? So she has the right to feel however she felt. Now, I feel like Will earned his award. I don't personally feel like his award should be taken away because his actions was not a direct connection to me to the reason why he was receiving it, right? When you're an athlete and you take steroids and the Olympic committee finds out, you did cheat, right? Because you're not allowed to take enhancement drugs to make you better. That's not what happened here. I feel like he did an outstanding job. I definitely feel like he deserved the award, and I also feel like he should get the award. On the other hand, a major statement, in my opinion, has to be made. So don't invite him back to the Oscars. Ban him from the Oscars. You can't get an award for 10 years. I don't know. But I feel like, looking at him on the outside, looking in, I've always felt he was very poised, always well-spoken. And I don't at all condone what he did. You should never get physical with anybody. I don't want anybody to, you know, and I forgot this part. I did a little bit of stand-up comedy. Yes, I did. I did a little bit of stand-up comedy. And I definitely poke fun at people, right? And of course, imagine, I wouldn't have wanted anyone to come up and, you know, slap me across my face or attack me physically in any manner. Again, Will Smith has always been a poised person, and he's an excellent actor. And the only thing that I will end with is, I do feel like he should be very happy, and he is obviously a very lucky man, because Chris Rock handled that incident like a gentleman. Kudos to Chris Rock. Like, he was a gentleman. He handled it like a gentleman. He did what he was supposed to do, and he kept it moving. So on that note, again, I'd rather end it with ladies out there that are suffering from alopecia in any way, you know, stay strong. You know, my story, yes, is a success story. But guess what? So is yours. If you are living through it and you are just, you've accepted, you know, and you're, I really don't, I just feel like being young, being so young when I went through it, when I see these women now, I know I said it before, but when I see these women now, there's just like, I'm just going to cut all my hair off and I'm going to show it. I did not want to do that. I just didn't have that kind of esteem. I relied a lot on my hair. It was like Santa Delilah. You cut it off. As many times as I had cut my hair off, or at my will, free will, right? Because I wanted to by choice. That was okay. But once it became a time, once that time came when when that choice was taken away, I wasn't prepared for it. So the respect I have for those women that could just be like, I'm living in my truth. Period. Hey, kudos to you. Kudos to you. I pray that I don't, it's uncurable. I hope that a bald spot does not appear again in my head. There are no guarantees. Injections aren't fun. I wouldn't want anybody to have to go through what I went through, getting little needles, a gajillion of them, stuck in your scalp. People don't want needles in their arms. I had them in my scalp, a gajillion. I had so many needles in my scalp, I became numb to it. Okay? I think sometimes it's also good to hear, I keep on saying a success story, because right now I don't have any spots, any bald spots. But honestly, even if I did, you wouldn't know, because oftentimes, because I did have a lot of hair, I was able to cover, and I wore ponytails too. But right now, I'm just honestly telling you that I do not have any spots. And I also think it's good to be able to show the other side. Yes, I've gone through that, but I am not presently going through it. But again, my heart goes out to women that have suffered from it and are suffering from it and continue to remain strong. And that's it. Thank you so much for listening. I was so happy to share this story. And I'm Vera again. This is Life's Lyrical Lessons. I've got something to say. Be blessed.